Alright, just getting ready to start our brew today. It's using the Brew Magic. It's a prototype that we picked up a couple years ago. It took us a couple years to actually get the process down. And right now we're making absolutely wonderful beer. Today I'm going to do a pumpkin ale. Unfortunately, I'm all by myself because my brew partners are out doing other things today. One's got to work and the other one's got all sorts of errands to do. So looks like I'm going to fly solo. What I'm going to do today is I am going to mash about 23 pounds or exactly 23 pounds of grains and 5 pounds of pumpkin puree. I took pumpkin pie pumpkins and baked them and seasoned them, and then I pureed them by hand in a baggie, and I'll be throwing that. And I did that about a week ago, so I'll be throwing that into my mash and mashing through it. Alright, I got my grains in and just so I pour it in. Here's my pumpkin puree. So, like I said, I made this about a week ago. It looks just like a mushed up pumpkin with a bunch of spices. I'm going to go ahead and dump this in my mash. We're going to mash through this. So, hopefully, the only thing that worries me about this is I didn't have my rice hulls. That was what I was looking for earlier. Rice hulls. Alright, looks like it's going to be time to go ahead and get this mash started. Basically what we're going to do now is we're going to fire up our burner. We're going to bring that temperature up to 150 degrees and rotate that wort for 60 minutes. Now, letting luck, we won't have a stuck mash. We're going to take our time bringing it up to temperature. We're not going to try to do it really fast, but we do want to get it up there. So, two things I got to do. One in which, incorporate this tube. That's going to help us make our whirlpool. Been sitting in some sanitizer, which just to clean it out. So one step, I do want to rinse it. Okay, we're about 30 minutes into this mash here. Just wanted to show you the mash whirlpool that we're having. It's a beauty. There is no air in the lines. You can actually see some of the pumpkin rotating through there. And this will continue to go for another 30 minutes before we start our mash out process, which I said earlier is we raise the temperature and then we mash out at a higher temperature, and then we take the temperature out of this right here and get this to a certain temperature, and then we rinse the grains on top using that same hose that we're using now. So got ourselves a beautiful looking whirlpool. System is working absolutely beautifully today again. Getting ourselves a nice little wort here. Starting to clear up, as you can see my fingers through there, hopefully. Starting to look pretty good. Nice pumpkin looking ale. Last year, this beer turned out absolutely fantastic. We're hoping for the same results this year, and then we're going to have ourselves one heck of a Halloween party and have some 7.5% to 8% pumpkin ale, depending on how the fermentation goes, on tap for it too. Alright, got our mash going. Mash is actually going pretty well. So, beautiful whirlpool. Doesn't look like we have any air in the lines whatsoever. I'm going to take this time now to start carbonating the full keg of beer. That's obviously already been fermented out. As I make a mess. It's already been fermented out, conditioned out. I actually filter it. And then this is the way we carbonate it. So we take our CO2, I got the pressure on 13 right now. Keep my fridge somewhat shut, keep it warm. I'm going to go in the in valve. Pop that in there and hear it come up and pop that. The reason I pop that, let the air out. I want to get the oxygen out and only get the CO2 in here. So I'll do that a couple times. Let that fill back up. And that's about probably good. Now, here's the key to carbonating. I take this, lay it on its side, right like that. And for the next 5-6 minutes, I'll roll this keg. Actually feel it as the bubbles are going into it, and then the carbonation goes in. And I'll sit there and continue to do this while it's cold. I put it in the refrigerator last night, started getting it cold, and I can feel the bubbles coming right through my rubber flip-flops here. Not wearing the best clothes today. It's brew day, so I just kind of drift pretty brewish, I guess you'll say. Anyways, I'll do this, like I said, for the next 5 minutes. Get this thing carbonated in the fridge. Could probably tap it by tonight if I wanted to. It's better if I wait 4 or 5 days. If I can wait 4 or 5 days before I start drinking off of this, it'll give it a little bit of conditioning and mellowing time, and it'll be a perfect beer in about 4 or 5 days. Alright, we're done with our mash, and we are going into our boil kettle. As you can see, as we fill it up, I'm hoping you can get to see this. It's kind of hard for me to tell what you're able to see out of this. But hopefully you can see how beautifully clear that wort is as it comes a bump above the frost bottom, if I could talk. I've already had my first beer finally, but it is after 2 o'clock on a Saturday, so that ain't bad. The only problem is I gotta get up early tomorrow morning and golf with one of my brewing buddies. It's his birthday, so I promised him I'd get up and golf, and I'm not one to get up very early, especially on a Sunday. However, as you can see, we're going to go through this. We're going to fill this up with about 6 gallons. Once we get to the 6 gallon mark, what we're going to do is we're going to shut that valve off right there, and we're going to start to sparge some of this water that's in here, in that kettle right there, rinse them right through the grains, and let them come right down into there. We'll do that 2 or 3 times before we're done. Then we'll get everything we can into here. Hopefully when we're done, we're expecting to have about 12 gallons of wort. Once we get our 12 gallons of wort in here, we're going to start to boil it up, add our hops, and add our sugars. We've got quite a few things to add to it. Since it's pumpkin ale, we got spices and everything else. Make it nice and pumpkin-y. So far, it's a beautiful color. Got a nice pumpkin color to it. Just what we were wanting. Well, my goal was to end up with 12 gallons of wort. We're just about done filling it up, and looks like we're right at 12 gallons of wort. So, got that timed pretty good. Or not time, but registered pretty good. That right there is what we're looking at. We'll probably take that tube out here in a minute. We'll just leave a couple more minutes to finish it up. Once we bring this to boil, that's where we're going to add our brown sugar. We got some cinnamon sticks to put in there. And our first hop addition. We don't use many hops in this one, just 2 ounces for a 12-gallon batch, or a 10-gallon batch. So, not a lot of hops. It's not supposed to have. It's supposed to be mostly spices and pumpkin-y flavor. And if you want to take a look at the mash real quick, it's obviously all mashed out. You can see the pumpkin in there and all the grains. The only thing I'm hoping is we're always at the risk of how the grains are cracked. Hopefully the grains are cracked really well, and if they are, we're going to have a beautiful mash. I've already taken a reading for a pre-boil gravity. My pre-boil, I want to be about 1.065-ish. If I'm not there, I can cheat and add some pure corn sugar, which I'll end up doing if I need to, because I definitely want to make this a 7.5%, 8% beer. But like I said, we're finishing right at 12 right there. Just getting ready to boil. Little steam's coming up there. We got a little bit of time before we're going to boil it. As you can see, the thermometer's a little crooked, but it's only registered about 165, 166. We got to get to 212 before boiling. It's been a hot day today, real hot. Matter of fact, it's 90 degrees, the 3rd of September in Cleveland. So you wouldn't expect that at all. I got so hot, so sweaty, I started drinking my first beer, had to remove my shirt as well. So my beer's about empty. This is a good old blonde right here. Looks like it needs a little refill. But nice tasting, 4.5%. Everyday session beer. Here's some of my stuff I'm going to be adding here in a little bit. My brew sheet. Got my wort chiller. As a matter of fact, we do a double wort chiller on days like today, so I'll run that through an ice bath into that one, which will be in the wort. So we chill the water as it goes in. Helps us out a little bit. Alright, we're kind of right in the middle of the boil process. You can see we've got a nice boil going on right here. I'm doing a little YouTubing, steaming up my camera. Smells like brown sugar and cinnamon. Got the system tore down. Everything got cleaned up. I still have that one to get cleaned up. Besides that, then I'll be pretty much done. And Mr. King come over for a beer. He's having himself just a nice, easy drinking blonde ale after he got done mulching his yard, so he's kind of thirsty. Alright, well, it doesn't take long when you start brewing beer. People start showing up ready to drink. He's going to be brewing the pumpkin ale in a week or so we'll have plenty of that. which is good. This one's not allowed drinking.
Beer and pretzels.
Not for a long time.
At a 93.